everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. It is your third Walker season 4 episode review. Yeah, we're on the episode 3. It's been a very April's been long. It's been long and it's been long. This is the point I'm trying to say, is that April's been long. This is the final point I'm going to make on that matter. Because I don't know, it keeps feeling like these weeks are getting longer, or could just be work, could be life. I don't really know. It just feels like it's been a while since the last Walker episode, and I realized, oh wait, no, that was a week ago. Like I'm an idiot. But this week on Walker, this felt like more. Well, this is a bottle episode, and what I mean by that is like it's smaller in scope. This is definitely. I felt the budget restraints on this episode to an extent. I definitely did. But again, bottle episodes, like budget episodes, they can be beneficial to the story. Definitely a moment to kind of let's take a fresh deep breath. Let's kind of exhale, let's figure out where things are standing, and before things start to pick up again. Sometimes you got to do that in order to keep you afloat. Considering the fact CW is now very, very more budget friendly. But yeah, no, I felt like this episode, as much as it felt very constricted, it definitely was helpful to check in on these characters. I know we've only been here for like 2 episodes still, but definitely, kind of being kind of a way to catch things fully back up. Some of the loose ends we left off in season 3, I think all of them kind of came back into play now, catching back in on all of our characters, trying to see where things are lining up, filling in other characters on other aspects of things, and seeing how that's all gonna line up per se as we progress forward into the season, which again, as much as this is only 13 episodes, again, Walker always in terms of the show always plays the long game pretty well speaking. So definitely the way they ended off this episode was like, you know what, if that's what we're getting already, then I cannot even imagine to what more they're going to be able to do down the road, so to speak. We're not even close to the halfway mark yet, but still we're already so far the pacing is, going at a pretty good pace, in my opinion, getting these characters ready. But yeah, still definitely, I'm definitely feeling the budget restriction on this one. I'm definitely feeling it. But with all that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. So we begin with Cassie's officially moved into Jerry's house. They're kind of acquainting themselves as roommates. Apparently, well, this is not notified till later in the episode, but I'm just saying that most of the characters are working night shifts, so weirdly enough, they're kind of more active in the morning for some very weird reason, mind you. Which isn't weird per se, just it kind of feels weird that, again, whether or not it was just, we can't afford all the extras this week for the extra ranger, so we're going to give them night shifts so that we can reduce the budget. I don't know, really. I don't know. Again, I always say this example, the episode in Breaking Bad, the bottle episode where we're in the lab, that is such one of the best episodes of the series, and they were they were focusing heavy on that budget, trying to reduce the rest for that episode to go down so that the rest of the season can go up. So again, just because I'm saying these feel like smaller scope episodes, it doesn't take away from the fact that these characters we're progressing in some shape or form with that aspect. So where was I speaking on that? I completely forgot. But yeah, no, so they're catching back in. Cassie is going to go out down to her storage unit and, try to donate some stuff because there's a big old, a Rangers fundraiser happening today. So they're going to everyone's trying to donate as much stuff as they can so they can, make money for a good cause and, as well as get rid of some old stuff. And, Cassie's using that as an opportunity to be able to kind of unload some stuff while she also gets ready to move some stuff into her current new home, which Jerry again says, well, I'm hopeful that, you're going to stay here for a while. That's kind of all I'm hopeful for, which again, that's the type of person Jerry is. So it works out pretty well to that effect. We cut over back to, there's just so many characters. Even with this episode, it kind of feels like so. Oh yeah, no. So we cut over to the side step. It's breakfast time. The boys are hanging out. The Walker Bros and Trey, and Cordell's got an interesting thing to approach with them. It's the big old thing. It's the L word question. Definitely of when to say. They've been dating for about 5 months now. It's going well. Obviously, there's a lot of there's a lot of history there. That's not just related to the romantic sphere. and that Cordell's just wondering when is the right time to say the L word, because again, the saying is kind of a big deal. Like, you're basically telling someone like, well, and Cordell says like, I want to do this for the rest of my life with you. I want to be with you forever. And how does that really like how do we how does he get to that point? Because again, when he did it with Emily, he was a very young man, very much in love. He had his whole future ahead of him. Now, he's in a completely different circumstance, and freaking Liam and Trey decided to play little Josh with him, saying that, oh my god, you're having so much trouble saying the love word. Literally, Liam just goes to Trey like, I love you, and I'm like, again, if you were to tell me 3 years ago, they would be on those sentences. I'm like, I know they were joking around, but still, it's just funny to think about, to be honest with you. But no, they both support him, like, saying that, like, we understand that, but if you want to take baby steps, you can. If you definitely want to take those inches towards forever in this case, because you're more of an adult, you're more like very much. Yeah, you don't really want to overstep too much, too fast, too soon. So how about just give her a drawer in your space, in your house, so that that whenever she's over, that she kind of still is starting to feel like this can be a home for her. And Cordell's like, actually takes it to heart. Trey heads off because he's about to start boot camp training for boot camp preparedness, because that's the thing apparently, for August and the young recruits that want to join the Army in the future. So he's off to go do that. Once again, jostling around with Cordell before he heads out the door. August also is getting ready for his first day. He's just kind of trying to get in the zone, trying to finally he's taking a sure footing into his future. Grandpa and Grandma Walker kind of teasing him a little bit just about time and punctuation. So he rushes out the door to get there. Then Stella's trying to catch up with some Z's. It's not really working, and she gets a knock on the door. She's very suspicious of it, and it's damn, Stella. Is Stella? No, not Stella. No, wait. No, it's freaking Stella's Walker's daughter. I got confused there for a second. Sadie? I think it's Sadie. I could be Hoyt's illegitimate daughter from last season, who was most likely being set up to be series regular this year, but because of the budget restraints, they probably couldn't afford to promote her anymore. But she's here. She got the message. She came all the way down here to check in. Stella shows her the marker message on the window, and Sadie's like, okay. Like, was this it? You literally made me drive throughout the night to get here, and this is all you have to show me? And so I was like, well, is it too much of a coincidence that this had to happen as soon as this other thing happened? And she's like, not really. Like, could be any other thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be, this one thing that we happen to do. And so I was like, oh, come on. Like, this has to be it. I'm going to call Detective Luna, the detective who's a descendant of that protector from Independence, or the actor playing the different character, which I'm pretty sure they're related somehow, if you really think about it to that extent, just because of how TV show works with lineage. But Sadie's like, nope. She erases the message. She's like, you need to get out of your shell, have some fun, have a change of scenery. I'm pretty sure you've been stuck in this bleak college dorm for like days on end. Like, you need like some sort of like, inspiration to go do something else. So, so she decided to drag her out there. Speaking of dragging her out there, Cassie has dragged along Liam to assist her into getting her place in order, her storage unit. It's a lot, which is a lot. I don't have a storage unit, thankfully. All my stuff is safely right here, which I just reorganized, which took me a little bit yesterday. And Liam's like, okay, well, we got our work cut up for us. Most is going to be for the move, and then some are going to be donations. So definitely they have a long day ahead of them. And they're starting to get into it. And the first thing that Liam notices is this very weird board game, which apparently when she was younger, Cassie managed to make from scratch. And, she never got to play it for a while until now. So, Liam decides to entertain her and says, you know what, let's play a couple rounds. Let's see what the game master's got on this case. Cordell heads back home. I forgot there was one important scene where after Trey leaves, when we were still at the breakfast scene, I forgot to mention this, then Liam broaches again about Stella, like, hey, I think Stella needs to go to therapy. She just hasn't been like 100% since everything happening. But Cordell's a little bit like, trying to establish independence for them, that if they really do need help from him, he will be there. But, Stella is an adult now. August is about to be an adult in a year, that he wants to give them a little taste of independence. Like, that, hey, he will be there, but like, if you really want to do things on your own, go ahead, try to figure it out for yourself. And he's just like, yeah, look, I'm not gonna interfere right now. I'm not gonna try and overstep my boundaries. Definitely, if she needs help, I'll be there. If she's not saying anything, I'm assuming everything's fine. But of course, obviously, Liam thinks a different way from that. Grandpa Walker takes August to his first meet, which sadly he is late for, and now freaking officer Trey, drill sergeant Trey, literally turns the script on and is like, no, there ain't no friendly banter here. There ain't nothing of that. Like, when you're here, you're gonna focus on the duty, you're gonna focus on that. So because of that, everyone's gonna have to redo everything we just did while you were late. So as a consequence, to not just you and your camaraderies, but just you in general for feeling like an asshole. So they go for laps, they do some push-ups, they do a lot of exercise, a lot of discipline. They let him go. August tries to have a one-on-one talk to Trey, saying that, like, are you pissed off at me? Are you mad at me? And Trey's like, no, I'm not pissed off at you, but I'm just making you learn that, it's important to be punctual. It's important to be there on time, because, you never know when, if you're a minute late, you could miss something crucial. You could be late to, probably helping someone. Like, there's a lot of reasons to why being on time is the most important thing that you should be doing. So, and also that he needs to commit focus on this team, because again, when he does get to the Army, he needs to focus on the unit. He needs to be like a team player. He needs to be, fully working with everyone, being on the same play with everyone, so that, everyone can, like, succeed together. I think I said that right. I'm not really 100% that. There's a reason why I didn't go into the Army or boot camp training whatsoever. Yeah, so now we come back over to Cordy's home. He actually gifted Jerry a shelf, a drawer in his cabinet, so she could put her stuff there. Obviously, Jerry appreciates the sentiment in the understanding of Walker's weird way of presenting it, but she does understand what he means, and says, okay, give me a moment. Let me organize. Let me see what you don't need. Like, actually make space for my stuff. You don't just have to throw your stuff down on the bed and just assume that, okay, that, that's all you really need. Like, now, like, let me take a look here. Let me take a deeper look here, and I'll come back to you. I'll get back to you. We're at the side step. Sadie's trying to calm down Stella, but again, Stella's is kind of a different breed right now, just like, paranoia and everything else. And, Sadie's just like the chillax, like, hey, look, I'm a broke musician, just traveling the country. I'm sorry if I don't feel the same way as you do, but just, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. Again, this generation's Cordell and Hoyt. It's like, I think already, like, as much as we don't get to see much of them from last year, like this year so far, it's like, you feel that energy. It's like a similar, it's different, but it's still that same Cordell Hoyt relationship that, that we felt before. And it's honestly, again, so nice to, like, that Stella has that commandre, because, like, I think after season 1, she's mostly just been, either with a guy, or she's just been with kind of just doing her own thing, like, kind of just like, being a loner or being with her family. And so having Stella, freaking Sadie around is actually beneficial to her, which honestly, that does remind me, doesn't she have a boyfriend with the Daversons? Like, the Daverson kid? Like, what about what happened to that guy? Like, I don't think they broke up. I mean, they were living together kind of in season 3. So I'm like, where the hell is he at? Like, again, like, I understand, like, they can't afford everyone, but I'm like, it's kind of an important thing, because, like, they've kind of been, like, hinting at this for, like, 2 seasons. So I'm like, you're not going to unceremoniously forget him. So I'm like, I'm hopeful they have a plan in place to, like, I mean, obviously, again, like, you're not going to mention your boyfriend every freaking second of the show, but I'm like, oh, hey, like, we're still together. He just probably went upstate or something like that. So something to that extent. But you could, again, once again, just feeling the budgetary of this episode. And then Sadie finally admits, like, okay, yeah, well, if I really think about it, like, it's just so coincidental how everything negative is happening, for you and me. And of course, Stella brings up a very important point, that technically she is a Rollins by blood. So that means, for better or for worse, that she is part of this larger family that the Walker clan is, kind of coupled together throughout the last few years. So, they're tied together, like, for good or bad, for, just, either planned or not. So whatever the case might be. So they decide to finally, okay, let's focus on this. Let's actually settle down and, really try to solve this mystery. What the hell's going on? They head over to Stella's car, but sadly, once they look at the car scene and they look at there's a photo, it's from the guy that died, which I believe is the same guy that tried to kill them back at the end of season 3. I've always been a little murky on that. So now it's okay. This is just way too coincidental with everything going on here. So they whip out the laptop. They try to do some research, trying to figure out, okay, who could possibly be targeting us that has a relationship to this guy. And they're really thinking, and they're like, well, the only other like random thing that probably happened was, when Stella, met the uncle last episode. That was the only like new unexplained thing that could have, linked it together. And, they're like, okay, well, it's a start, definitely it's a start of the investigation. But sadly, they can't progress any further since Stella promised to participate in the fundraiser, as well as, say he's like, you know what? I promised Jerry that I would stop by eventually. So I'm here now. Might as well, like, stop by and see her because, that's the thing that I completely forget that, she's got to do as a surrogate, daughter to her. So then we cut over back to the Walker Ranch. Grandpa and Grandma Walker still joshing around, still like just, it kind of feels weird that they kind of just feel like traditional grandparents were like, they're still the same core characters, but like, they just feel like, they're just being just traditional grandparents, which honestly, it's cool as well as like, okay, like kind of weird a little bit, but like maybe it's just the growth of these characters throughout the last 3 years. So I'm like, that could be the case right there. August walks out. He's like ditching all of his music stuff to donate to the fundraiser to sell them off. And, again, Grandma Walker making it very important. Like, are you sure you want to get rid of this stuff? Not only this is heavy, it's a very important part of you for the last few years. Like, it's a very big deal to give up this part of yourself. And August is like, no, don't worry. Like, no, this is part of what I want to do. I need to grow up. I need to like, mature and everything. So this is definitely what I need to do. What I need to do to like, fully commit to what I really want to do for my future. Which are like, okay, it's your decision. Cordell goes back to his room. Jerry finished up organizing, the clothes, like, multiple bunches. Cordell's looking around for one particular shirt. He can't really find it. It's one that Emily gave to him when they were still, they went on a vacation together, and she gave it to him as a present, and he cannot find it anywhere. And Jerry inadvertently reveals that, yes, she might have donated it because she thought it was trash. Obviously, Cordell doesn't take it lightly and decides to just, leave the room, just like, not in a huff, but just like, in like just kind of an unreasonable way, but kind of understandable at the same time, if that really makes sense. He vents to Grandma Walker about the whole thing, saying that like, how am I supposed to trust Jerry with more stuff in the future if I can't even trust her with a simple shirt? But Grandma Walker does make an important point, like, yeah, well, she's not wrong. She didn't know. If you didn't communicate that to her, like, like obviously you guys have been just friends for like so many decades that, being promoted to like this, that you're dating, that you're supposed to have each other's back like this, like, key important part of that is like, if you don't communicate, to your partner, then how they expect us to know things about you that you don't want them to do. Like that, like, hey, don't touch this shirt because it's my reason. Okay, well, a good partner would listen. Like, okay, I respect that. I won't ask the reason for. I just won't touch it. Simple as day. But if you don't communicate that to her, and she's already doing this other task that you let her do, like, don't blame her if she, if she doesn't know about it. Definitely it makes sense in that accord that, that she just didn't know, and that's not her fault. And there's obviously going to be things that, she also doesn't want Cordell to touch upon for her own personal reasons. And again, it all comes back to communication, which I'm like, thank you, Grandma Walker. Thank you for proving my point. Sometimes a lot of TV shows would be less dramatic if people would just talk about things. So Cordell, honestly, like, he listened to it and like, okay, actually, progresses forward. And we're back in the storage unit where slowly but surely, both Cassie and Liam are making progress into their game, as well as, packing up the storage unit to manageable pieces. And they're kind of getting to the root of things, like Liam's just like, all over the place now. His kind of reaction to like just the incident back from before season 3 just ended. He's just pouring himself into the rescue, just trying to keep himself busy, helping everyone as he can to kind of like get his mind off things, which again is respectful. But at some point, it's not healthy because in the fact he's trying to get involved in every little thing to distract himself, especially trying to like get Stella the help that she may need, but like it's not his decision to make. Um, and Cassie's a little bit talking about like just like her minor hoarding of like trying to hold on to pieces of her childhood, trying to like keep holding on to like fragments of like trying to find a stable 2 feet in the ground type of life. Um, but again, like everyone's got their problems, everyone's got their own things to worry about. And they're both helping each other out. Even they have a sweet moment where like she says like, hey, well, technically you're dating my brother, I'm your brother's partner in the force, so, and we have been through so much together. Like, yeah, we are family, we are growing closer as a family, regardless if Leah marries her brother or not. They are getting closer, they are getting to the point of like actually being possibly a bigger family. And that in a way having these types of moments is like so great for the long term for themselves, as well as just building their bond even more. So yeah, that honestly, that is very very sweet to see. Very sweet to see about that. I think that finally we cut over to the actual auction itself. Stella and Sadie are kind of at their own booth. August is at his own booth. Stella's kind of eyeing this one guy from a distance for so long because like he's been parked there for like so long. Like, why is he here? And he obviously getting that paranoia effect into her. August is making like hotcakes, selling a lot of his stuff for like a lot of money. Trey walks in, like notices that, oh, you're doing pretty well for yourself. And August's like, yeah, no, I'm listening to your advice. Like, I'm selling all of my stuff. This what the old me was, so that I can focus to be this new me, to focus on the team. And Trey's like, okay, that's great, but you don't have to give up your belongings for that. It's just about balance. That as you grow older, you're going to gain more responsibilities, more priorities in life. But at the end of the day, you're not expected to give up your person, yourself. Like, the number one thing I'll personally say is that, no matter what job you have, don't give up your personal shit. Like, whatever personal life, hobbies, what you want to do, the job doesn't matter. Okay, it does matter to like pay the bills and like, build your career, but like never assume that you have a job that everything you're doing is just going to take a pause or you're going to stop doing that. That's not how it works. If any job is making you do that, it's not the right job for you. It's not. Because like, you have your work self and then you have your, your personal self. So August giving up his personal self is just not what Trey wants him to do. It's not recommended. And he's like, okay, you have a point there. So he kind of regrets what he does. And like someone tries to buy his like last catalog of stuff. And he's like, no, this is mine. This is not for sale anymore. Which I'm like, damn, he's got that hoarder mentality too. Stella has enough of the guy in the distance. She goes over to talk to him, and he's like, oh no, I'm just a delivery driver. I'm just waiting for someone to pick up their food. And I'm just like, oh boy, Stella. This is why sometimes you really need to make sure things are like, accurate before you do any moves, because that was way awkward. Jerry shows up. She's greeted by Sadie, as well as Stella. Sadie's just making up an excuse that, oh, I'm in town because Stella needs a wing woman. She's interested in a guy, which I'm just like, wait a minute. Okay, so we need to really need like a verbal update. What's going on with Stella and her boyfriend? We really need a verbal update on this. Jerry's trying to just pivot in, like, hey, if you guys need guy help, I'm here. I'm always available for you. And again, like, just her being that supportive parental figure. I'm being very loosey-goosey with the titles there, but like, it very much is like, yeah, no, if you ever need help, I'm here. Like, I'll always be there for y'all, but it's fine if you don't need me. She goes inside. Cordell's already there. Cordell apologizes to her about the whole, snapping at her earlier. It's again, back to communication of like, they both had different lives before dating each other. Obviously Cordell was with Emily for so many years, had a whole family with her. And then Jerry's had that very on again, off again thing with Hoyt. And, that those were two definitive relationships in their histories together. Obviously, there's going to be some lingering things from that because it never were things that ended negatively, just were sadly ended abruptly. So it's not like a traditional moving on sort of spiel. And there's going to be certain things that they still don't feel comfortable about doing that, but, Cordell's like, I want to be more open to you. I want to be more communicative to you. I want to actually, really be a partner to you so that we can like keep growing and like getting there further and further together. And Jerry actually appreciates the sentiment that this is something that he's ever really done before. Cause that's just him, like even at his age, still growing up to be that, the next person that he's meant to be. And they say, I love you for the first time. It's very sweet. And I'm just like, again, it's still one of those things where like it's not a negative thing. It's just like it still baffles me that like season one. I mean, they set this up in season one about them eventually getting together, but like just the slow burn about it and just being here now, it is a payoff. It is very much a very mutually felt payoff on both from the viewer part and the creator part. I know, yeah, we cut to a scene where Cassie and Liam are also at the fundraiser. They're selling some stuff too. Liam and Cassie are getting more closer to be like, more close to each other in the general sense. Even Liam gifting her like, some fighting robots boxing match, whatever the case might be. Just to like, continue building their bond on it. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see more scenes with them in the future. Cause I really did enjoy their scenes. It's a bit different from like, from Cassie and Walker. So definitely it's a bit of a different vibe. So I definitely do like that, from that perspective. Then we cut over back to the Ranger HQ. It's time for them to begin their night shift because who the fuck scheduled them? I really don't know. Like, I guess they got to work at least one night shift a month. Who the heck really knows? And they're just like, Cassie's just like, hey, look, it's the first time it's just been 3 of us in a very long time. So like, let's chill out, let's relax, let's catch back up. What have you all been up to? Like, really been up to since, they haven't had like a real moment to like actually catch up in a while. And she mentioned some like random things that could have happened. And as soon as she mentioned serial killer, Cordell's mood just like, and Cassie pushes like, okay, fill me in what the hell's going on. And they fill her in on the Jackal and everything about, their recent lead. It may not go anywhere, but it is a lead. But the problem is that James can't know about it. Cause again, if James gets wind that the Jackal is truly back, he could get assessed over it again as before. So definitely it is a cause for concern that, not to get too involved into the weeds there until they actually have something concrete to present to him. So, and thankfully Captain James is not even here this week. So I'm like, that works out pretty much well. That works really well for all of them. So they're still keeping it on the down low. We go back to the sidestep, despite the minor D-trace, they're going to, Stella and Sadie are going to pick things up back in the morning and really like kind of, get back into like trying to figure out who the heck is targeting them and what the hell's really going on everything. So they go into their car. Sadly, someone is already inside with a gun telling them to drive. It is the same dude who was supposedly dead, the same dude that tried to kill them earlier. He's in the car with them. He's telling them to drive. What the hell's going to happen next? I don't really know, because that was it for this week's episode of Walker. Again, a slower paced one, very much focusing on the characters a lot. But again, sometimes just catching in on the characters, like hearing their thoughts, hearing what's going on in their brain that's as developful as like, an action scene or two, or really like, for keeping up the thrilling pace. Sometimes that's just all you need in an episode of TV, just sitting down and just taking it in. Definitely it made me respect all these characters a little bit more. It definitely does showcase that these characters are growing each and every day, each and every episode. And that, they're aware that this time in their lives, whatever this is, it's going to be massive change, however it's going to end up to be. So I really did love this episode. I really did. I think that they did a very well done job trying to like, give everyone a little moment to shine, give everyone a little moment to like, breathe and evolve a little bit. So I really do appreciate that from them. So with that being said, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of Walker. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So, around this has been Was It 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 4th season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally, Was It 2 beside our Walker episode reviews. Right now, we would be doing the rookie episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on ABC, but we're still on a little hiatus from that. We'll be back later in the month. But if you don't care about Walker, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode, so stay tuned until then. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there. Be good to each other. Like or share if you have to. Ring that bell. And of course, peace out.